No, so time to go ripping here and take out the shock, take out the spring. The spring will stay out because obviously we're putting in coilovers. We don't need that spring anymore. Those discs are actually brand new. However, we have, and the pads will be new as well. But bearing in mind, 21 years ago since this car was on the road, those brake pads will have gone hard anyway. So we've new pads going in anyway, and we wanted to put in drilled and grooved discs anyway. So we're gonna just replace those and put in the shock, put in the coilover, take out the spring. In under the arch here, I'm going to give that a good brush down. As you can see, it's absolutely spotless anyway. But I'll show you what I've done to the other side, because I actually have the other side done, and I'll talk you through that now. So let's go over to the other side. So here we are on the other side, and as you can see, just with an aerosol underguard, it just freshens it all up, you know, and it's not heavy, thick scotch, so you can actually see that it isn't covering up anything, and it's just giving it that kind of fresh look. And there we have our coilover, and that's where the spring would have sat, and caliper, discs, or disc and brake pads rather. So that's all good, and that's all ready to go. I have the front done on this side, which is pretty cool. So I'm waiting for brake pads actually for the front of this. Drilled and grooved discs on the front there. Got the rack in, we've got the track control arm in, all of that. But I don't have the other side done because I did want to do a bit of a time lapse for you on one side at least anyway, because there's nothing worse than when you're working on a car and having to set up the tripod and remember to record, you know, because I don't get much time consecutively at this car, so when I'm here I need to get in and be as productive as possible, so sometimes I kind of forget to record. However, when I was opening the stub here, the bottom bolt for the shock decided to shear inside in the fucking thing, so I'm just gonna drill that out, and I'll either drill it out and try and get a stud extractor and take that out, or I'll just drill straight through and put a nut and a bolt on it instead. So we'll see. We'll have a look at that and see how that goes. But look, I think what I'll do is I'll time lapse this one for you, and you can see how that goes. Caliper off, carrier off, disc off, shock out. And taking the shock out, the swing arm won't come down enough to get the coil spring out. Yeah, you could compress it, but it was easier just to open the drive shaft and just let the swing arm come down, and then just actually pop the coil spring out, because obviously that coil spring needs to come out. So once that was all cleaned out, then a couple of coats of satin black or underguard, and we're good to go. The wheels are getting sanded down. 3 of them are absolutely mint. So we're doing a colour change anyway on these. These are kind of a graphite grey, as you can see, gunmetal grey type thing, and they're going silver. But one of them is fucking, all the paint is lifting off it and stuff like that, and it's in poor enough repair. Now ideally what you'd want to be doing with these is you'd want to be dipping it and getting all that shite off it, but we don't have time. And the nearest, I'd have to send it somewhere, and it's just more time, more expense. So we're just sanding them down, 2-pack prime them, flatten the primer, and then paint them silver and lacquer them, and they'll be good. So hoping to get those done today and tomorrow, and then we have tires to go on. So once we have those done, at least the car will be rolling then. Now with the shock in place, I'm just about to put on the wheel and actually take the car off the stands for the first time in God knows how long. But okay, so setting the height for these, the best thing to do is just to take the lash out of it so that the spring isn't, rattling around inside in it. Obviously the gearbox and stuff isn't in, and the car will have to have a drive for it to settle and all that before you'd actually get your true height. So the best thing to do is just to take up the slack in the spring. There's no rattle in the spring in the four corners. Drop it down, doesn't matter what height it is, like I say, because all the weight needs to go, you know, there's still quite a lot of weight to go into the car before I can actually decide, you know, about adjustments and stuff like that. So it'll probably be sitting a bit high, but that doesn't matter, because like I say, we won't be focusing on adjusting that until right at the end, really, when the car's back to normal and we've driven it, you know. So that is it. Time to turn the wheel. Now that's the driver's side shock in, bolted up, brake hose in, and that little bracket there that just holds this ABS sensor in place. Now that gearbox is quite a large yoke, and just before we fit it, like, you're not going to see it, but I always think it's nice to clean these things up the best way you can. And obviously this is, you know, quite a clean gearbox anyway. Now, bearing in mind I just did wipe it down with panel wipe, but it wasn't covered in oil or dirty in any way. So what I'll show you what I'm going to do. Like I said, no one will see, but I think it's nice just to give it a quick coat of just basic wheel silver, and when you look in under the car afterwards and everything's nice and clean and new looking, it'll really stand out, you know. And I think it would really stand out if it wasn't done more so than if it was done. So just for argument's sake, we just do a little bit of it here now, just to see. So you know, and it just brightens it up. And I think for the sake of the couple of minutes that it takes to clean it, and you know, why wouldn't you do? You know, why wouldn't you do it? So, yeah. See, much nicer. Wheels or tires on the wheels, and we've gone for. We're looking at different types of tires and what should we go for, and obviously trying to mind the budget as well, but not getting something that's terrible. So we got 9Kangs, and they are they anything special? I don't really think they are. They're just kind of an entry level 9Kang, but they're rotational. There's a nice stud pattern on them, and they seem to be fitting well. Everything seems to be a-okay. Wheels are fitting fine. The arches on this car were rolled anyway. Previous owner had rolled the arches, and so, you know, any clearance or anything like that issues, no problem. But I don't think there was going to be anyway. So that's it. In its there's an M4 going past. This car, what am I saying? This yeah, it's out. It's out. It's out. It's finally out after months being on axle stands. What was I going to say? Yeah, okay, the engine bay. So we'll be messing around with different, you know, shiny bits and stuff that we got. But look, I'm not a major fan of these things, but the new owner is, and we're kind of having a debate of what we want the underneath of the engine bay to look like. We did pick up some blue Samco hoses, and I think the blue Samco hoses, the red rocker cover and the chrome bits are just too many different colours going on. So I'm leaning towards a black rocker cover, because he doesn't want, he would prefer not to have it red. So black rocker cover, black hoses, get rid of that, get rid of the shiny bits, and just have it clean looking, and, you know, try and stay with the theme. The original hoses were fine, and he can get black Samcos down the road or something like that. Obviously there's no front on it still, because we're waiting for the infamous wiring loom to show up, which apparently FedEx are picking up today, and that's going to be with us in a few days. So yeah, I'll be able to piece the car back together and put the inside back together and everything once the loom comes. Well, I'll have to pull out the remainder of the back portion of the loom, which is probably going to be interesting. But look, at least it'll all be plug and play, and that's the main thing. Still stuff to be getting on with. There's still the repair on the back bumper, where If you remember from the first video, somebody cut the back bumper, or the previous owner cut the back bumper for a twin exit exhaust and made a bit of a bollocks of it. So I'm going to build that up. That back number plate insert is wrong. That's the wrong one. That's actually off a hatchback, so that needs to go. And we need to get the correct one for it, or not, because I think the two-wheel drive is actually an 88 two-wheel drive, as far as I know, didn't have a back number plate insert. I think it was only the later ones. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, pretty good. That's actually its original paint, by the way. I've had a good look over the car. The car's never been painted. The back bumper was painted all right. Obviously, I'd say when they cut it, they painted it, so we must paint that again. But it's amazing how good the actual paint work is on the car. So that's it, guys. Next video will be the wiring loom. It'll be what decision we're making for under the bonnet. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're getting places. I think definitely to see it down on the ground, and I can actually transport it away now and take it to a friend's garage who has a lift, and I'll put the gearbox or the clutch into it and put the gearbox into it, put the exhaust on and prop shaft, and just go through everything underneath it. And as you'll see under the back arch here, remember I was showing you, I can't really see it there with the lighting, showing you on the previous video about the black underguard. I'm going to clean up underneath and just give it a light coat of that, just to keep it all fresh. And yeah, so that's it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, don't bother, I suppose. If you want to see any more of the rest of the build, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well, and you'll get notified when I post. So until then, guys, talk to you all soon.